Hello. Okay, so if any of you missed it, on Thursday night, I think it was the 16th, I did a live stream over on Mentally Diseased channel. Had an awesome time and so glad so many of you were able to make it. And of course, for those of you who couldn't make it, I'll put that link down in the description. We did do a quick Q&A at the end, but not everyone's questions got to get answered. So, part 2. Your questions, my answers. Scary thought, huh?
Let's do it.
Did a live stream with Mentally Diseased, Germ, on Thursday night, and we had a handful of questions that we just didn't have time to get to. So let's get those taken care of now. All right. KCTBH asked, I wonder how big the pressure is in general for Jehovah's Witnesses to get baptized after a certain age from their family. In the comments during the live stream, Honest Conscience Dave had answered her question, a lot of pressure, and pointed out one of Toni Morris's videos. That was a bug. I'm terrified of bugs. It was probably just a fly. As I was saying, Anne pointed out one of Toni Morris's videos wherein clearly children are coerced to get baptized. And I thought I'd share that clip with you here.
Your personal relations, just like everybody else, unless you're a toddler. We know how Jehovah will sanctify them, but as you get older, you are responsible. Remember the nice demo? We've mentioned that before. Well, I'm not ready to get baptized. Okay, let's hold off on your driver's license. What? I'm 16. What are you talking about? I'm ready. I know I'm ready. Yeah, you're ready for a driver's license, but you're not ready to dedicate your life.
I hate that man. There's something seriously wrong with him. Hopefully that answers your question, Casey. The pressure is huge. That is your first goal, actually, as a child. ABCs, 1, 2, 3, dip in the pool. Okay, maybe not quite that early, but the earlier, the better. It is well known in the culture that a child who expresses interest sooner definitely gains more favor. So you have your goals. You become a publisher, awesome. You become a baptized publisher, awesomer. You become a pioneer, a ministerial servant, elder, used to be presiding overseer. But sorry, ladies, pioneer is about as high as you can get. So yes, the pressure to get baptized is huge, and you can see even as late as 2015, Toni is telling parents, if your kids say they are not ready to get baptized, then you might want to hold that driver's license over their head. Next question. Casey also asked, is that book like for XJWs? I believe the book she's referencing, and I never pull it out. We talked a little bit about Crisis of Conscience. And yes, I would say it's definitely a good book for ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. This gentleman here, Ray Franz, was actually a governing body member. He also was on the writing committee and had a hand in most of the literature that we used, especially back when I was growing up. Please go buy a copy. It is an amazing book. You will have so many aha moments. Might as well call it the Book of Validation because it literally Tetrises everything together. It's amazing. Next question. Angus Stewart said Mexico had a ban, ? And Wire Rubbish Bin said, were Jehovah's Witnesses banned in Mexico? I'm sure they were not. This is 100% correct. No, Jehovah's Witnesses were not banned in Mexico. This question comes from a story that I was telling wherein my family we lived in California, and my family used to let us visit family and friends in Mexico. And at one point I was left there for about a week to visit, and I had been pumped into my head that Jehovah's Witnesses were banned. We couldn't say Jehovah out loud. We couldn't pray. We met in a sister's house. It was very weird, and pretty much, as I said, fed into that persecution complex big time. And I was terrified. Well, what would make Mexican witnesses think that they were banned? What I later found out through Crisis of Conscience, there was a magazine that was put out, I believe it was the Watchtower, in 1990, talking about how for the first time in 50 years, Mexican Jehovah's Witnesses could use their Bible to go door to door in the ministry and could start opening their meetings with prayers. This gives the impression that it was maybe forbidden previously. Oh, it was forbidden. But by who, you might ask? The Mexican government, right? No. It was actually their own headquarters that had restricted the Mexican witnesses from going door to door with the Bible and from opening their meetings with prayers, because these would be things that people do when they're in a religious organization, but the headquarters presented themselves as a cultural organization, not religious. Therefore, in order to maintain the status of a cultural organization, they couldn't say prayers at the beginning of their meetings, and they couldn't use the Bible when they were going door to door. Did the 1990 magazine mention anything like that? Well, what do you think? So when the headquarters changed their status in 1989 from a cultural organization to a religious organization, the witnesses in Mexico could then proceed in the same way that we were doing here in the United States. None of this was mentioned in that magazine. So the rest of us, my family included, thought there was a ban. And it was 87, 88 that I spent that week in Mexico. So yeah, we thought it was illegal to be a Jehovah's Witness. Why? Because the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society said so. So I just wanted to clarify that. No, there was not actually a ban in Mexico. We had been told there was a ban in Mexico. Next question. Where can I buy that cup? Don't want to spill it. There's contents. This is the cup being referenced. You guys see me drink out of this quite a bit. It is my ghetto wine glass. And so obviously I'll throw a link down in the description for anyone who wants to buy it. I don't make the cup. It's not mine. Some super genius out there came up with it. And then we have a question from Why a Rubbish Bin, said Cass. Do you ever think that you may reach more JWs? He used quotes, so I'm using quotes. Do you think that you may reach more JWs if you dressed in modest apparel and looked like a well-turned out, modest woman pleasing to Jehovah? Do I think I would reach? No, I don't. I'm pretty sure this mouth would still give me away. And I look terrible in sheep's clothing. In all honesty, though, I actually don't think the way I dress or present myself whatsoever affects my conversations with Jehovah's Witnesses, because I have a fabulous personality. What I think actually keeps them around is that I am very open to listening to them and hearing what they have to say so that I can eke my own suggestions in the conversation. JS said, I'm curious about her tattoos. What tattoos? I do have quite a few tattoos. Lost count a long time ago. The main ones that you guys are apt to see are, I have some flowers here, and in the center is the symbol for Aum. Most of my tattoos, if not all, have some connection to spirituality and various religions, whether I was a member of those religions or not. The second tattoo you probably see the most is on this arm, which many of you are probably immediately recognizing as the Tetragrammaton. So I do have Yahweh tattooed on the side of my arm. No, I've never regretted any of my tattoos because every single one of them represent a part of my life or a period of my life that was clearly important to me. But my all-time favorite tattoo is this one. Not just because it appears offensive. Let me explain this one in little less than half an hour. If anyone hasn't seen Handmaiden's Tale, go watch it immediately. It's a Hulu original. You're missing out. Go watch it. Watch it. You will relate to it, especially if you're a former Jehovah's Witness. Mind-blowing stuff in that show. But there is a scene wherein one of the main characters is no longer a part of the rebellion, and she kind of gives in. Long story short, too late. When she comes back into the rebellion, she smuggles a package to the main character with a message on it that says, "Praise be, bitch." This represented her joining into the fight. Some of you may recognize this blue pinwheel. It is the symbol for child abuse prevention. And the green ribbon in the middle is the symbol for mental health awareness. So these are two things that are very important to me. Obviously, child abuse prevention, mental health awareness, those are biggies. And the praise be bitch is my declaration and commitment to both of these causes. So that's a couple of my tattoos. Debs Vista posted and asked, what did you do to deprogram from the Borg? She actually asked this twice, and she followed up over on my channel with the same question. And I think it's a very, very, very long answer. So I will try to sum it up here. Step 1, run. Step 2, keep running. Step 3, research, research, research. Do not be afraid to read and to hear other people's stories and other people's experiences, because you will find that they mirror yours to a T. And those stories are validation for everything you're already thinking, feeling, and questioning. And I think also, you guys let me know down in the comments, I think that there are behaviors that we will do forever. It's definitely easier to deprogram from the dogmas, right? Those are easy to disprove. Run over to JW Facts after this video. Unfortunately, I believe that lifestyle will be impacted probably forever in some aspects. Who we are and how we develop, and I know everybody has their own opinion with the nature versus nurture, but in my opinion is a big part of our environment. And if your environment has conditioned you to do certain things, think certain ways, and to exhibit certain behaviors, it could be a long time, if ever, until those go away. And sometimes you won't even notice them. Many of you, if you're anything like me, might notice that you're a very, very, very busy person. Myself, for example, I work full-time. I do have kids, however, they're grown. I dedicate a lot of time to my husband. I do this channel, which is an easy 15 hours a week, and I'm also a full-time student. Go, 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 go. In my opinion, this type of behavior I've inherited from my upbringing. You go to school full-time, or you work full-time. You're going to meetings 3 nights a week for 5 different meetings. You're going out in service. When you're not doing any of those things, you're preparing to do those things. So you are kept busy, busy, busy. I am trying to learn to slow down, because once I've identified that's where that's from, I don't want to be like that. So I do believe that we will have parts in us forever that come from being programmed. But the biggies are easy to escape. Research, that's the biggest thing I can tell anyone, please. Research and read. Ask questions. And it's okay to doubt yourself, because you are going to be arguing with yourself. And if you're anything like me, neither side is going to want to be wrong. Michelle Ostrowski. Don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Did you have a hard time parenting without the guidelines of the religion? No, I absolutely did not have a hard time parenting without the guidelines of the religion. I chose very, very early on to take everything that was negative and that I knew was wrong and completely remove that from my parenting style. I feel that I should go into some more depth on that. I'm sure you're wanting a better answer than that. But no, for me, when it came to my kids, nothing was hard. Nothing whatsoever. I got rid of how I was raised, the teachings I was given. I started from scratch and parented the way I would want to be parented. Eric Knight said, or asked, I know a lot of people have issues with witnesses going ham sexually when they leave. Have you ever experienced that? I don't know. Ask this guy. That'd be my husband, aka Sex Daddy. I'm totally kidding. He's gonna hate that I put that in there. Seriously, yes, this does occur. I have seen it happen a lot. I know I had spurts in my life where this is why I have an issue with the Caleb Sophia videos, hugely. When you teach kids or people, but I'm gonna say mainly people who are raised in it, that everything is all tied together. Your kindness, your love, your generosity, everything is tied into being a Jehovah's Witness. And when you step away, a lot of that goes. Sometimes including sexual morality. That doesn't mean it's not fun. But yes, that's my quick answer to that question. absolutely people go ham. Had a good one for that. Let's keep it PG-ish. So yes, I have seen that happen, actually to the point of detriment to a lot of people. However, I think it's also important to not confuse a high sexuality. It's just a moth. It's important though to not confuse a high sex drive or any kind of fetishes or doing it with the lights on as absolute sexual immorality or as a byproduct of becoming worldly. In my opinion, all sex is good sex, all sex is healthy sex, so long as no one is being harmed. And that includes mentally. That includes if you're doing things that just doesn't feel right to you. But yes, Eric, I've definitely seen people go ham, and some of us stay that way. So Angus Stewart asks, did you get an education? If so, what, and what did you learn? So I did mention in the live stream that my parents pulled me out of school halfway through the 9th grade, and I was always very ashamed that I only had an 8th grade education. And I have to be honest, I wasn't 15 and 16 going, oh, I really, really want to go to school. But how else was I supposed to meet boys? But when I had my children, which was a very young age, I had my first child at 17, I was very ashamed that I didn't have an education. And I didn't even know how to go about pursuing a further education. Gee, wonder why, Tony. But yes, I did eventually go back to school. First I got my GED, and then around 2006, I went back to school and I got my associates, and then eventually got my bachelor's in psychology. And currently, because I'm an idiot and a glutton for punishment, I'm attending to get my master's in business administration. I think it's important to get an education. Not everybody needs to go for masters and doctorates. It's just not for everyone. And Angus, thank you for asking that question, because it is something I'm very proud of, and I tell people all the time, it's never too late. I'm halfway to 100. There's no such thing as it being too late. If you want it, go out and get it, get it. Last question was from Maria Cervantes, who says, have you been able to forgive your mom? Yes, and it has taken many years, but I think this is important, probably to most people who are watching, because even if you had very straight-edged, normal parents, you probably still have some resentment over the fact that they maybe raised you in this cult. I had a little bit more of a tumultuous upbringing, which I've spoken about in quite a few of my videos, and a lot of it was tied to being raised Jehovah's Witness, and a lot of it was because my parents were just hard asses.
No wire hangers ever!
But yes, it's taken years, but I have come to a place now where I can have a genuine relationship with my mother, because here's the thing, a lot of people I know, even non-Jehovah's Witnesses, non-ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, have relationships with their mothers that I would not touch with a 10-foot pole. They've never discussed anything that their mother did wrong, or father. They've never discussed any way that they've been let down. They've never discussed pain that they felt, abuse that they felt, emotional unwellness. A lot of people like to pretend it never happened just because it's over, and that is really, really unhealthy. So it was important to me to talk to my mom, and it has taken years, but she's finally there to hear what I have to say, to call her on the carpet for things, to apologize for things that I did as a snotty little teenager, but still didn't warrant certain punishments. And she had to have the ability to say, I'm sorry and there's no excuse for it. I do feel finally at a place where when my phone rings and it's my mother, that I'm not like, ugh. And I don't feel that drudgery or obligation, but it has taken a lot of work. So that would be the last question that we had. That sums up what I wanted to accomplish with this particular video. I'm definitely going to get back to reviewing the Shepherd the Flock of God manual. They've changed Big D's schedule lately, and we are trying to figure out some good time that we can get together and review the Elder's Manual again, because you know that's always a good time. So I would like to end this video with a thank you to you. As you may have noticed, I finally hit that speed bump of 1,000 subscribers, which is awesome. And I want to thank you because as much as I receive great feedback and email about people that are being helped, you have been helping me. So thank you. And I told myself that I would do a live stream when I hit 1,000. So I'll think of some content. We can all get together. We can all hang out. We can talk some smack about the governing body. But I think that would be a lot of fun. And until then, I'll see you next time.